Moin! Hier ist Alster Ego, der Podcast aus Eppendorf, für Eppendorf und alle, die gern so tun, als würden sie hier wohnen. Ich bin Tetsche Mierendorf, euer Tourguide durch Cafés, Boutiquen, Klönschnack und kuriose Nachbarschaftsgeschichten. Hier trifft Latte Art auf Aperol, High Heels auf Gummistiefel. Und ihr seid mittendrin, also Kopfhörer rein, Ego raus, es ist Alster Ego Zeit.
Und dies ist eine ganz besondere Folge, denn es ist die erste Folge, die wir auf Englisch halten werden. That's Marvin A. Smith. Hello. Give a big round of applause. Hello. I'm so excited for about having you here, and I'm quite nervous. Doing this in a foreign language is a completely new experience to me.
It's a new experience for me too.
I don't even know how good your German is because every time we meet, we only speak in English.
That is correct.
How good is your German?
Ich weiß es nicht.
Ich hoffe, jeder versteht es. Also ich werde zwischendurch natürlich immer wieder auch übersetzen, gar keine Frage. Also ich freue mich wahnsinnig, dass Marvin hier ist. Und jedes Mal, wenn wir uns treffen, reden wir eigentlich immer nur Englisch. Ich weiß also gar nicht, wie gut sein Deutsch ist. So I'm really excited to have you here. And when people Google you, they read choreographer and creative director. But what are you doing the whole day?
Amazing. It really depends. First of all, thank you for having me, and I'm really glad to be here. Now, in answer to your question, what am I doing the whole day? It actually depends on what day it is, because as you said, between being a choreographer and a creative director, both of those things can take you in such different directions. But most of the time, what I'm looking for or what I'm doing is just really trying to make things better.
Ah, okay. So you're not like writing songs or are you?
I am.
You are, of course. The fun thing is, everybody knows you. Everybody in this whole business. Oh, Marvin A. Smith. Oh, yeah, sure, I know him. You know everybody who ever entered a stage internationally. If you go to Hollywood, if you go to New York, if you go to Bollywood, I don't know, you know just everybody. Also Marvin ist wirklich ein Phänomen. Egal, wen man trifft aus der Branche, aus dem Business, er kennt jeden. Das ist unfassbar.
I feel so old. He makes me feel so old. Well, you know what? It's interesting because I think that has a lot to do with the two topics, the choreography as well as the creative direction, because it moves you around in so many different directions. And as the choreographer, we're not only working with the dancers or the actors or the singers or the models or whatever it is. We're also working with the producers and the executives. So it goes really high on how we're dealing with people. Therefore, the net of people that you are meeting, that you're dealing with on the daily, it really expands. Whereas when I was dancing, because I started off as a dancer, when I was dancing, you pretty much just knew the other dancers, and you knew the choreographer and maybe the director and the director's assistant. There was no reason to get to know the producers or the executives or so forth and so on. So as I kept moving forward in my career, the span of people just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's kind of why it seems like a lot of people know.
Okay, also ich weiß nicht, ob es überhaupt.
Oh, I forgot he has to translate. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, also du hast als Tänzer angefangen und hast am Anfang natürlich immer nur mit anderen Tänzern oder mit dem Choreografen oder der Choreografin zu tun gehabt. Und je mehr sich dann dein Tätigkeitsfeld erweitert hat, desto mehr Leute hast du eben auch kennengelernt. Und so you're basically, what you said in the beginning, you're basically improving things. So you have a product, like a song or an appearance, artistic appearance, and you just improve it. You say, okay, you have to wear different costumes. You have to have a certain makeup, a certain appearance, certain light show, and people.
Well, kind of. As a creative director, you're coming in with, you're kind of leading the creativity. So you are, as the project is developing, you are the red line from the beginning to the end. So whether it's lighting, whether it's costuming, whether it's hair, makeup, whether it's styling, or set, where on location or the set, wherever we are, you are the red line that kind of goes through that, and to keep the heartbeat going as it should, so we don't go right or left. As a choreographer, that's something different, but I feel like I've been choreographing for so long, so I feel like I'm as old as Moses. I feel like I've been around for a long time. And as a choreographer, it's really about composition. It's about composition, and it's about making things work. And luckily, I forgot you have to translate this too, huh?
Okay, es ist, also als Creative Director ist man natürlich dafür verantwortlich, die rote Linie dieser ganzen Geschichte zu sein, Dinge zu verbessern. Also man ist verantwortlich für das Licht, für die Kostüme, für die Haare und so weiter und so fort, und hatte natürlich eine Gesamtverantwortung für das Ganze, eine kreative Gesamtverantwortung.
Ja, klar. Genau. Genau.
So, but if you get a job, if a producer comes and says, okay, Marvin, be my creative director, do you take full charge and full responsibility? And you say, okay, whatever I say, I don't want to go into discussion. Whatever I say is the law, artistically. Also ich möchte wissen, wenn er jetzt wirklich den Auftrag bekommt, okay, sei bitte mein Creative Director, dass er dann eben auch die volle Verantwortung bekommt und auch keinen Widerspruch duldet im Prinzip.
Well, you don't want to actually have to say that. But that actually is indeed what it is.
Yeah.
Because we have to make sure the idea and the creativity that's on paper is the same idea that's going out to the people. And sometimes we have, in the creative process, you can get off track a lot of times. So there needs to be someone there that kind of keeps it on the right road, and to make sure that the final product is exactly what we intended to have. So if we were working on a film as well, it tells the proper story. So it's really about storytelling, I think. And I think it's so multifaceted that I think trying to explain it for people who are not in it the whole time, it seems so simple, and it's not simple at all. It's really multifaceted. And like you said, if a producer calls me, I think a lot of the reason why people like to call me is because it's a multi-language. And I think movement, it becomes like a language. So I go from me personally, I work in the commercial world, working with artists, working on television shows and working on musical theater, then also working in the theater and also working on films and so forth and so on, because the movement is just a language. So it's just like speaking a normal language. The more vocabulary words you have, you can build more sentences. And the more sentences you can build more paragraphs. And the more paragraphs you can build, the more stories you can tell. And the more stories you can tell, the more you can change the world, and you can make people think or laugh or cry. And I think that's what ends up happening with movement as well. With movement, and I've been very blessed and very honored to work with so many different choreographers and so many different productions when I was still performing, that my movement vocabulary just got really big. And then you take that and you tandem that, meaning putting that together with a creative direction hat. It just really makes for a very big vocabulary.
Okay.
So that's kind of what it is.
Speaking of words. I have to translate. Okay, also Tanzen und Choreografie ist natürlich wie eine Sprache. Und je mehr man natürlich Worte lernt, Choreografien lernt, desto mehr lernt man eben die universelle Sprache des Tanzens. Und je größer das Vokabular wird, desto mehr Sätze kann man bilden, desto mehr Geschichten kann man erzählen, desto mehr kann man Menschen eben auch damit erreichen. Und hat dann eben auch noch diesen kreativen Prozess obendrauf, der eben dann das Ganze entstehen lässt.
Genau. Nochmal, genau.
So, but if you get one job, a particular job, okay, you look at the whole thing, at the product as it is at this particular moment, and you think, okay, I can improve this. But have there been ever shows or products that you thought were so bad that you could not save them anymore?
No, I've never thought that there was a show.
Also die Frage war, ob es jemals schon ein Produkt gab, das an ihn herangetragen wurde, wo er dachte, oh, da ist jetzt nichts mehr zu retten.
No, I've never thought that. Me personally, I believe that everyone has the right to dream. Mm-hmm. I believe everyone has the right to not only dream, but to go and chase their dream. And sometimes, you see a product or a performance or an artist that one might like and someone else might not like, but that's not really my opinion. I'm not here all the time to judge. It's not my thing to judge. My job is to help facilitate this project or this artist to get to where he or she wants to get. So a lot of the times I don't have an opinion. I'm just looking to say, how do we get there? I hear where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And now from a professional point of view, I have to get you there, and I'm going to do what I can to get you there. Because a lot of times we see ourselves so much differently than other people see ourselves. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh my God, my hair, my eyes, my ears, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too tall. And someone else is coming up to you saying, oh my God, you look great today. Oh my God, I love your voice. It's like, oh my God, really? I sound horrible. So a lot of times with these artists, they sometimes see themselves so differently than the rest of the world sees them. So it's just my job to get them there and facilitate however I can and support however I can to get them there. Same thing with the production. If it's a production, I don't have to like it. Okay. I just have to make it better.
Okay, also dein Job besteht natürlich darin, dann die Dinge die kreative Idee und das Produkt auf die Straße zu bringen und auch die Künstler teilweise davon zu überzeugen, wie sie nach außen wirken, weil ja das eigene Bild dann doch noch ein anderes ist, als das, wie es außen wirkt. Ich weiß nicht, ist es überhaupt nötig, dass ich übersetze? Na, ich mach's einfach. Okay, und das ist dein Job. But do you sometimes have to persuade or, if not convince, the artist against his own will? Musst du manchmal die Künstler auch gegen den eigenen Willen überzeugen? So are there sometimes artists that who say, okay, I hate what I do, but you might be right?
Sure. But sometimes the truth of the matter is I'm not going to say any particular names, but sometimes artists, they don't particularly like some of the biggest things that they've ever done. Mm-hmm. I'm sure a lot of us have heard that Michael Jackson never wanted to do Billie Jean. He thought that was a horrible song. And we can listen to him and go, well, wait a minute, what? And it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean this is not a good song? You know what I mean? And you can listen to a lot of artists, a lot of people. Celine Dion, she was like, Titanic, really? I don't know if that. So she went in, she sang it at once. She sang the song from beginning to end. Now, for her at that time, or for some of these artists, the biggest songs, the biggest successes that they've had, whether they're books or films or songs, a lot of times it just didn't connect with them at that particular time. Mm-hmm. So somebody had to say, and in Michael Jackson's situation, it was Quincy Jones that said, you go ahead and you have your opinion over there. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this. And it's going to go where it's going to go. So I don't know if it's about necessarily convincing them to do something that they don't want to do. I think a lot of times it can be a conversation because sometimes you're just trying to get them to understand what's better for them, what's better for the journey. Because temporarily right now it might not be good, but sometimes you have to have a foresight so you can see what's coming in the future. Mm-hmm. So that could be. But I don't like the idea of trying to manipulate artists or productions to do something that they don't want to do, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to enhance things. I don't want to change anyone. Okay. I want to make people, just make the project better.
Okay. Also es ist immer ein Dialog mit dem Künstler. Es soll niemals irgendwie ein Künstler jetzt überzeugt oder überredet werden, eine bestimmte Richtung einzuschlagen, nur weil sie künstlerisch jetzt besser wäre, sondern es ist immer ein Geben und Nehmen, also zum Wohle der Kunst und des Künstlers. Did you start dancing because you loved it or just because you were terrible at something else?
No, it's so funny. What I wanted to be, believe it or not, is what I wanted to be was a dentist.
Really?
Yes. What I wanted to be was a dentist. And from the time that I was a kid, I was the weirdest kid. I mean, shocking. I was really a weird kid, and I used to love to go to the dentist. I loved going to the dentist. I loved the smell of it, and I loved the sound that zzz. I really did, and I could not wait to go to the dentist when I was a kid. Anytime I would have to go to the dentist, get my teeth cleaned, I was so excited to go to the dentist, to get out of school, to go to the dentist. So I really thought that I wanted to be a dentist, and so that was my main goal when I was young. And
okay, also eigentlich wolltest du Zahnarzt werden, weil du das Geräusch des Bohrers geliebt hast und den Geruch, und du hast es geliebt, als Kind zum Zahnarzt zu gehen. Okay.
And then somewhere along the line, it kind of changed paths. And I don't say I wanted to be a dancer, but I knew that I wanted to be in the entertainment business as well. And then I remember seeing a couple of shows. I remember seeing Little Shop of Horrors.
Where the dentist
is, of course. Yes. I was like, look, you can do them both. So, no, in all seriousness, my parents obviously wanted me to be wanted me to go down that road like my brothers and sisters. But I was like, when I got the bug, it's funny because I'm here with a friend of mine, Jay, and he does radio, and he had stopped doing radio, and then he did it again just to help a friend out a couple of days ago. He's like, oh, I got the bug, and I want to do it again. And so that was very much like me. I just knew that I wanted to do something in the entertainment business. I wasn't sure what it was. Dancing just picked up more than anything else because I went to the School of Creative and Performing Arts where you have to sing, dance, and act. So it's a triple threat situation. It was a school like Fame, if you guys know Fame. I went to school like that. So, and then I thought that I wanted to be a dentist, and I was in the school, and then the bug just bites you, and then you can't shake it.
Okay, also du wolltest eigentlich ja Zahnarzt werden und dann bist du halt in dieser Industrie gelandet, in diesem Business, und wurdest dann plötzlich infiziert. Du warst auf so einer Academy, wo halt Schauspiel, Gesang und Tanz unterrichtet wurde, und da hat es dich dann gepackt und du wurdest von diesem Virus infiziert und es hat dich nicht wieder losgelassen, und dann bist du da gelandet in dieser Industrie. You worked your way up in one of the toughest industries. What was your lowest moment? Hattest du schon mal einen Tiefpunkt in dieser ganzen Zeit, die du jetzt in diesem Business bist?
That's a really good question. And the honest answer to that is the lowest moment was when you're so riddled with being successful and working. And there was a time that I was working so much, and I had this focus of where I wanted to go. And when you're doing that, you just kind of do everything that comes your way. And then you lose sight of who you are. Mm-hmm. And that was such a very heavy moment for me, because wow. That's like an emotional feeling. Because you kind of lose sight of who you are. I lost sight of who I was and what I wanted to do. And more importantly, why I wanted to do it. Because it became about working with another bigger name, a bigger production, a bigger this, traveling to another place. And I lost focus of why I wanted to do it. And why I wanted to do it was to create beautiful things for the world and to make people laugh and cry and talk and think. And it wasn't about the success and it wasn't about the names. And I remember I was jumping between 3 or 4 different productions, and it just got so dark when everything looked so light from the outside, because it looked great, it looked fabulous, and it looked really shiny. But in the inside, I was just, I lost focus. I lost who I was. So that was really one of the lowest moments for me. And then I had to kind of repurpose myself and kind of understand that it's not about, and I know this sounds so cliche, it's really not about the destination. It really is about the journey. And it's the journey that touches people. It's not necessarily the destination that touches people. It's the journey that touches people. That's when you touch people's lives and make a difference. And I just had to recalibrate. I took some time off. And I just had to recalibrate myself. And I was glad that I did it, because a lot of people that I'm sure we all know, and a lot of people in the industry, they didn't have a chance to do that. They didn't take the time to do it. And it really takes a toll on you at the end of the day. And it can really break you. And I really didn't want to break my wings. Yes. I don't mind bending them a lot, because we all bend them because we push ourselves. I just didn't want to break them. And I'm glad that I took the time off. So that was really one of the lowest times that I had.
Thank you for sharing.
Absolutely.
Also ich übersetze einmal kurz, ich versuche das zusammenzufassen. Also es gab eine Zeit, wo du einfach einen Job nach dem anderen gemacht hast und es gar nicht mehr um die Frage ging, warum du das Ganze machst, sondern nur noch irgendwie abgeliefert hast und es toll aussah und außen hin alles großartig und glamourös war, aber du eigentlich die Verbindung zu dir selbst verloren hast und den Zweck verloren hast, warum du das Ganze machst, und du musstest dann einige Zeit erstmal für dich nehmen, da wieder die Verbindung herzustellen und den Sinn und Zweck deiner Tätigkeit wieder zu ergründen. Und das war ein sehr emotionaler Moment, wie wir gerade gemerkt haben. What makes a superstar? Is it talent, discipline, madness or everything together? Also was macht einen Superstar aus? Ist es Talent, Disziplin oder Verrücktheit?
That's a very good question as well. I think let's go back one step first. What makes a star? I think that's a really good question. And I think one of the main ingredients for being a star is having the consistency to get knocked down every day and to wake up the next morning and to do it all over again. So if you don't have that consistency, you're not going to get to the first step. So that's one of the main ingredients to be a star, and to believe in yourself, or to appear like you believe in yourself, even in the worst moments and in the worst times possible. If your cat got hit by a car, if your dog is sick, or you have family, people, loved ones that are ill or something, you have to get out and you have to be able to perform. So if you can't do that, that's going to be a hard point to get to the first step, which is a star. Now, what makes a superstar, in my personal opinion, is how one connects with the audience. Because it's, at the end of the day, it's the audience that makes the choice. It's the audience that has to take you into their heart and take you into their homes and take you into their television sets and to the movie theaters. They have to welcome you. So I think I think we were talking before, and I was at the Berlinade, and I did a keynote there, and someone asked almost the same question, like, what is the difference between a star in Germany or a star in America? And all of those things that I just said, they're very consistent. pretty much the same across the board. But the only other difference for that superstar, sadly to say, it's about budget as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, also die erste Sache, die erstmal einen Star ausmacht, ist natürlich die Konsistenz und immer wieder aufzustehen und trotzdem an sich selbst zu glauben, auch in den tiefsten Momenten immer wieder aufs Maul zu kriegen und trotzdem immer wieder aufzustehen. Dann, was ein Superstar ausmacht, ist natürlich die Verbindung zum Publikum, die erstmal herzustellen. And the last thing was
Budget.
Budget, natürlich, das Geld. Logisch.
I mean, because the marketing budgets and the promotional budgets are just humongous in America. They're just humongous. I mean, our marketing and promotional budgets sometimes can be more than the whole film in other territories. Because, you know, if you're going to do a movie like Titanic or you're going to do something like Star Wars or something like Avatar, the marketing budget is humongous. And that marketing budget lets that artist inside everybody's television and everybody's home globally. Now that's massive. And that's really, really hard. And it's also hard. And I think another thing is we don't look at the other side of that, because being a 17-year-old girl or 17-year-old boy and being in everybody's home across the world, that's a very hard thing as well. So one of the other things that I didn't mention about being that superstar is to understand and know how to balance that out, because you have the whole world looking at you and the whole world has an opinion about you. And it's so easy to have an opinion about someone because you think it's your opinion to that one person, but it's really not your opinion. It's hundreds and hundreds of millions and millions of people that has the opinion. Is he the best Spider-Man? Mm-hmm. You know, and everyone wants to talk about it. And you have to think about how many times has he heard that in America, and then Japan, and then China, and then Germany, and then Poland, and then France, and then England. That's really hard. So that's one of the other things. Yeah. It's being able to balance those things out.
Also es ist immer wichtig, eine Balance eben zu finden als Superstar eben, weil erstens ist natürlich das Marketingbudget oftmals viel, viel größer als die Produktionskosten für einen Film. Und die ganze Welt hat natürlich eine Meinung. Und wie oft wird man mit der Meinung konfrontiert? Bist du jetzt zum Beispiel der beste Batman oder was Spider-Man? Spider-Man, Entschuldigung.
Or Batman, that was a question too.
Man,
yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, we have a question here. Do you think that dance today is more consumed than truly understood? And how do platforms like TikTok influence that perception? For example, with videos getting shorter and attention spans decreasing, is this more of an opportunity or a risk for dance as an art form? Have you understood this question?
I did understand that question. And whoever asked that question, you want me to get canceled, don't you? You know, that's really a hard question because life is really about opportunities. Mm-hmm. And it's about not only having the opportunities, but taking the opportunities. And as I said earlier, I believe everyone has the right to dream and everyone has the right to try to access that dream. Now, I think what ends up happening a lot of times on these big platforms, it gives, and I'm not disrespecting anyone who's doing their thing, but on these platforms like TikTok and Instagram and all these other platforms, it gives us the ability sometimes, in some cases, to water the word down a bit. Yeah, because if I make a t-shirt, it's hard to call myself a designer like Valentino. It's like, no, sweetheart, that's a t-shirt. It's a really nice t-shirt, but it's not Valentino. Yeah. I can watch your video and yes, you're dancing and that's absolutely true. But it's hard to take that sometimes and then to compare that with Brishnikov. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to do that. And what we do is we reduce the time So now what we're doing is we're programming the audience, and I hope I'm answering the question. We're programming the audience not to be able to connect with the art form sometimes. Whether it's, dancing or singing or no matter what it is, acting or even creating something on these platforms, you have 30 seconds to do that. So we start thinking from a consumer point of view that you can get there so short. And because you have 500 million views, it must be good. And I'm not saying it's not good. Sometimes it is good, but it is doing something to our mind psychologically. It's doing something to our mind psychologically. And I think the flip side to that is sometimes when not only myself, sometimes when choreographers and creative directors are having auditions, we see some of these people that come in that have 5 million, 10 million, 8 million followers, and they should be very, very good. But then you get them into the audition room or you get them to a rehearsal, and it's a whole different thing to have an 8-hour rehearsal than to do a video for 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
And it's another way of thinking because that's another skill. And I'm not saying that skill is not good. That's a very good skill. And if you have 10 million followers, you must know how to do something very, very well. And I can appreciate that and I can applaud that. But I don't know if that skill translates to being on stage in front of 100,000 people to keep their attention. Mm-hmm. And I think that we sometimes would have to think, people like Elvis Presley or Prince or Michael Jackson or Janet Jackson or Madonna, these guys, they got there without social media.
Right.
They got there without social media. I'm not saying social media is good or bad because it's a tool, but they got there without social media. And we just had the Super Bowl a couple of months ago, a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. February. It was in February. And, every year the Super Bowl happens, we have the halftime Super Bowl special. And every year it's like, oh my God, this was the best Super Bowl show ever. There was 135 million people that watched it. It's like, yes, it was. With Bad Bunny, you did a great job. But Michael Jackson did it before TikTok or Instagram was even around. And he's still the third highest viewed Super Bowl special ever. Yeah. So it's something that it took to be able to grab the audience without all of this social media situation. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but that we could go back to your previous question of what a superstar is. That's what a superstar is made out of. Because how could you get 130 million, whatever the number was, don't quote me on it, but how could you get that 25 years ago? Now that is mind-boggling, and that is impressive. That's super impressive.
To just sum it up, okay.
Mm-hmm. To sum it up, yes, social media, TikTok is great. You guys keep dancing, yeah?
Wow, okay. Ja, also okay, also soziale Medien, ja, also ohne das jetzt schmälern zu wollen, was da passiert. Viele Leute, die dann viele Follower haben, die werden wahrscheinlich schon vieles richtig machen, aber es hat eben auch in weiten Teilen nichts mit dem zu tun, was auf der Bühne dann stattfindet. Insofern, ja, also hat alles seine Berechtigung, aber es sind eben auch unterschiedliche Disziplinen und jemand, der auf den sozialen Medien erfolgreich ist, muss nicht automatisch ein Superstar sein, wenn man sich auch mal vor Augen führt, wie es gewesen ist vor 25 Jahren, da 130 Millionen Leute vor die Bildschirme zu kriegen, wobei wir ihn jetzt nicht auf die Zahl festnageln wollen, und da trotzdem Leute von Bildschirm zu kriegen. Okay, wir haben noch eine Frage.
So good at remembering all that. That's amazing. Yay! You're so good at that.
I forgot to mention in the beginning, what is your connection to Eppendorf? Of course.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm a newcomer to Eppendorf. I haven't been there so long, but I moved to Eppendorf, and it just so happened that I came to Eppendorf, and I really like it. See, I really like it because it's also convenient. And sometimes I never have to leave. You know what I mean? And that's the hard part. The hard part, if I don't have to work and if I have days off, sometimes I really don't have to go any further than from Helgestrasse down to the corner and come right back to Helgestrasse, and I'm good.
You work with so many superstars, and who was the most demanding artist you've ever worked with? Okay, you're not supposed to say names.
Absolutely not.
No. But is there a difference between American stars you work with or and German stars? Because I made the experience. I've worked for several musical theater shows, and I've worked with original Broadway teams, and it was completely different working style. If you're supposed to start the rehearsal at 10, you'll get counted in 5, 6, 7, 8 when the clock says, okay, 10 o'clock. And it's different in Germany. It's more relaxed. You show up at 10, you grab a coffee, have a chitty chat, and then by 11 you start dancing. Is that also your experience? Also gibt verschiedene Arbeitsweisen. In Deutschland trifft man sich um 10 zur Probe, holt sich noch einen Kaffee, redet ein bisschen und so weiter und so fort. Und wenn du aber mit Amerikanern arbeitest, da ist es ganz anders. Also 10 Uhr ist die Probe angesetzt, dann wird um 10 Uhr eingezählt. 5, 6, 7, 8. Or is it, let me ask you frankly.
Okay.
Do you hate the German?
You're not making this any easier. Okay. No, I think you know there is a difference. There is a difference. My logic is this. You know, I remember when I was young and I would go to auditions, and what we would call those auditions, we would call them cattle calls. Cattle, like just a whole bunch of cattle.
Wie so ein Viehauftrieb eigentlich.
Because you can go to an audition and there can be 800 people there. There can be 1,500 people there. And there's only 2 slots that they're looking for. So they're looking for 2 guys. Yeah. We don't know if they're looking for 2 white guys, 2 black guys, a black guy and a white guy, blonde hair, blue hair, green hair. Yet we have no idea. We know that there's 2 slots.
Vortanzen, hunderte von Leuten tauchen auf, nur 2 Positionen zu vergeben.
And there's 1,500 people outside, and the line could just be wrapped around the building. So I can imagine that culture that you're speaking about when 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock and we start working at 10 o'clock. Because if you don't start working at 10 o'clock and if you are the one that's late, that's okay because I have 1,500 people outside that would be, I can change you in a heartbeat. Yeah, so it's not that complicated. And so we were never taught to get comfortable because it wasn't only about getting the job. It was about sustaining the job. You had to keep it because there's always somebody on your coattails that wants to work harder or faster or who dances better or who sings better, who's prettier, who's whatever. So you could never get really comfortable. Mm-hmm. That's how we were brought up. Things have changed a bit. And I think when I'm working in Europe, it's just... No, that was really, I honestly just cleared my throat. That was just, I think when I'm working in Europe, it's just a different situation. I remember the first time I was working in the Schauspielhaus and somebody was late a couple of times. I was like, oh, well, then we'll just get rid of him. They were like, Nein. I was like, oh, well, let's just fire him. We get some, Nein. Das geht nicht. I was like, what do you mean? No, he's not here. He was late 3, 4 times. It's like, no, Marvin, you have to fill out a paper. You have to send the paper to the KBB. You have to do, I was like, that's way too complicated. I could just say, you are fired.
Also in den USA ist man das halt so gewohnt, okay, wenn jemand eben zu spät kommt, dann wird er gefeuert, weil dann 1.500 Leute vor der Tür stehen, die den Job machen wollen und auch können und dann eben auch pünktlich sind. Und als Marvin dann das erste Mal in Deutschland gearbeitet hat, im Schauspielhaus, da kam jemand irgendwie 3, 4 Mal zu spät und dann hast du dann gesagt, ja, dann lass ihn uns feuern, dann kommt dann halt der Nächste. Und nein, das geht nicht. Irgendwie so, geht zum künstlerischen Betriebsbüro, das ist halt komplizierter, wir müssen zum Betriebsrat und so weiter und so fort. Und das war dann eine neue Erfahrung für dich.
Yeah, and that's I think those are just that could be the difference. And I think that could be, I think it's not a matter of are they better or worse? It's something different. It's just a different culture.
Yeah.
I just think it's just a different culture. And I think that could be the the background behind it.
Okay. Let me ask the other question the other way around. Who surprised you the most in a good way? From people we might know, because you work with the greatest artists everybody knows. Without dropping names now. Like,
I think, that's such a hard question. Every artist that I worked with, and most that I can think of off the top of my head, most productions, they all give you something different. They really do. They give you something different. I think I was, what's the question again?
I forgot. I asked who surprised you in a good way from all the people you worked with? People we might know. Is it like, Celine Dion is one of the nicest persons you ever met, or Mariah Carey is a much better person than her public image, or...
I can tell you this, since you mentioned Celine Dion, I never had the pleasure to work with Celine Dion, but I had friends that worked with her, and I remember I went to one of her shows, and there was some technical difficulties, so it already started late. And I know that she was coming from another country, or she was coming from somewhere else. So there was already a lot of process to get her on stage. Then she finally got on stage. She did a fantastic show. As you know, Celine Dion, she gives her whole heart, whether you like it or not, whether you like her music or don't like her music, she gives everything. And the show was already an hour and a half, almost 2 hours longer because of the technical difficulties. And she did everything she had to do. And she went outside to go get into her car, and there was a swarm of people there. And I watched her stand out there for another hour and a half signing autographs.
Wow.
And I was just thinking, in my mind, I was like, do you not realize you're Celine Dion, that you can just not do this? But she literally she was there for at least an hour, just signing, and she was just so pleasant. And what I took from that is that she understood how she got to where she is, that she just didn't take that for granted. And we see so often a lot of these artists or athletes, they get annoyed when people come up to them and ask them, and that's rightfully so, because there is a time and place for that. But I was so moved and you can see she was physically tired. You can see she was physically tired and almost emotionally done, but it didn't stop her. She just did every single picture, and every single autograph. And I thought that was amazing. I thought that was very impressive. And I also know one other artist that I have not had the pleasure to work with. But again, a lot of my friends has worked with her. It was so amazing that one of the dancers on the show, and one of the I believe is one of the backing vocalists as well, they both had family members that were very ill. And the one dancer was actually a personal friend of mine. I won't say the name, but everything that they were doing was going back to this family member who was very ill. And I know that we understand that the Medicaid, their Medicare system is a little bit different in America. So it was a big bill for them. The artist found out just by chance. She immediately went to the hospital and paid the whole bill.
Wow.
Ohne Ende. Until the end. Not just where it is right at that moment, until the end
of the whole treatment.
Of the whole treatment. Wow. If it was going to be another 6 months, another year, another 2 years, and I thought that was really moving as well. I thought that was moving because sometimes you think, because we never hear that side. We only hear that, oh, he's a diva, she's a diva, they're arrogant, or this story, that story. But I thought it was just until the end. And she never said a word. It took months and months for them to find out who it actually was and who did it. It took months, and she did it in silence, and I thought that was very impressive.
Wow. Ich übersetze mal kurz. Also es gab diese eine Geschichte, die du von Freunden mitbekommen hast. Es gab ein krankes Familienmitglied eines Tänzers und da gab es eine unfassbar große Rechnung, die zu bezahlen war für die medizinische Behandlung, weil natürlich das Krankenkassensystem in den USA natürlich ganz anders ist. Und da hat dann dieser Superstar, ohne ein Wort darüber zu verlieren, die gesamte Behandlung über Monate hinweg bezahlt, bis wirklich alles beglichen war. Und die andere Geschichte, die war, Celine Dion hat, nachdem sie aus dem Ausland gekommen ist und eine lange Anreise hatte, Verspätung hatte, hat sie sich wirklich noch Stunden Zeit genommen, um Autogramme zu geben. Das sind wirklich beeindruckende Geschichten. Is there something in the entertainment industry that looks glamorous and is absolutely the opposite? Gibt es irgendwas in der Unterhaltungsindustrie, was total glamourös aussieht und das totale Gegenteil ist?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, everything. There is. Yes, it's so much. And when we were growing up and watching it, we didn't realize that the set was just a set. Uh-huh. And behind that set was chaos. It's chaos. We didn't realize that. But there's so many aspects to this entertainment industry that's not glamorous. It's a rush to weight industry. It's a very chaotic industry. So all of it is not super glamorous. And a lot of the times what we're seeing the result of a long morning, a long night, and it's about capturing that image or capturing that shot that can make the world feel something. But most of the time, it's not glamorous. Yeah. There's a lot of things about it, as you know, is not glamorous. I can't really give you a good answer. So for those of you guys listening to me, please don't be angry, because I don't want to say something really bad. I'm trying my best.
Meistens ist halt diese ganze Industrie eben nicht so glamourös, wie sie natürlich scheint. Aber es geht darum, eben den besten Moment festzuhalten und dann eben auch entsprechend fürs Publikum abzuliefern und Emotionen hervorzurufen. Dafür ist das Ganze ja da. Na klar. You've worked at the top level. What keeps you grounded, you personally?
My family and my friends. I think there's nothing more important than family and then your family of friends. There's literally nothing more important than that, because they can't be replaced and they really can care less about anything that you're doing. So they love you for you. They get mad at you for you. They tell you really how stupid you are. And they constantly just keep you going. They do not let you feel special at all. And I think that those are the things that keeps me grounded. It's definitely my family and my immediate family of friends. And then other than that, I just think it's being realistic. Mm-hmm. Because this industry, like any other industry, it can all be gone tomorrow. Mm-hmm. It really can be gone tomorrow. And so the older I get, the more you realize how important time is, and you just don't want to waste it on stupid stuff. Yeah. So you want to get in and do the best that you can and touch as many people's lives and opinions, because what really matters is not always the outcome. It's about how you make people feel and how they can learn from it. So that's how people remember you when you're not there anymore. It's how did they make you feel, which is why music and dance and films can be such soundtracks, because some songs that I hear now, I can hear a song that I haven't heard in 30, I keep telling my age. I can hear a song that I haven't heard in like 30 years. And I was listening to Michael McDonald the other day. Mm-hmm. I have not heard this song in forever. And I knew I keep forgetting, I'm not in love anymore. I was like, how can I sing this song from beginning to end? I haven't heard the song in forever. Yeah. But it just, remember, it was like, it's such an amazing song. And it just touches you to a point that I don't know where he is now. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's still performing or whatever, but I know that that song and the journey of where he, in the process of getting to where he is right now, it just made such an impact on my life. And I can immediately remember where I was, who I was with, and what was going on. And I think that's a really important thing. It's just the journey. And it's really about, being grounded and being realistic, because there's always going to be somebody bigger, better, faster, and next. There's always someone next, and you just have to understand that. My grandmother always told me, which I didn't understand when I was young, she would always say, never cry over something that can't cry over you.
Oh, okay.
And I never knew what that meant until I got older. And then we're not focusing on the right things. We're thinking about the success or the money or the material things or things like that. And what she's saying is money can be made. It can be made. It can be lost. Material things, they're not going to be there forever. Success is a mindset. Now, the things that we should be crying over are the people. If I can't cry over you and you can't cry over me, then it's just, it doesn't really matter, because it's not the connection. It's just you put the value in it. I put the value in my car or in your house or in your, whatever. And I think that's really important. So thanks, Grandma. So it was really a thing. I didn't understand it in the beginning, but it's a thing that now is really applicable to my life right now, because I don't worry about the things that I used to worry about, and some things just lose their importance.
Okay, also was dich am Boden hält bei jedem oder bei allem Erfolg, ist einfach Familie und Freunde natürlich, und wie du von deiner Großmutter gehört hast, eben, also sie hat gesagt, weine nicht um etwas, was nicht um dich weinen kann. Also was du dann erst im Laufe der Jahre richtig verstanden hast, dass es eben darum geht, sich an Menschen zu halten, also allem Materiellen kann man einen Wert geben. Geld kommt, Geld geht wieder und so weiter und so fort. Aber es geht wirklich darum, um die nur zu weinen, die auch um einen selbst weinen können. Das tolle Worte. Und danke an deine Großmutter.
Yes.
When was the last time you were truly nervous? Wann warst du das letzte Mal richtig schön nervös?
Before.
No, 1 hour ago.
Like 45 minutes ago. No. You mean before working?
Yes, of course. Also when you thought, this is going to be a mess. When we open this show, it's not going to work. And it worked anyway.
Now that's interesting. And it wasn't a show.
Okay.
You want to talk about the last show or just the last time I was working? And I thought, okay.
Whatever you want to tell.
The last time I was really, really nervous. It was really just a couple of months ago. I think it was last month. It was so funny because it was just me. It was really just me. And I was doing, something for telecom. I was doing a speech for telecom. And it was at their telecom convention. And I was thinking, Marvin, you've worked on this, you've worked on that in the Olympics, and this artist and that artist and da-da-da, with 25,000 people and hundreds of millions of people watching. And I got this job to do something for telecom at one of their in-house conventions. And I was ready, I was prepared as per usual. And I was all like, this is gonna be great. And then finally, I was right backstage and I looked into the audience and I was like, what did I get myself into? Because these are not entertainment people. They can care less. It's like two different species.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there and there was like 1,500, 2,000 people. And I was like, and they were all employees. They were telecom employees. So they're like, we've been here all day long. We want to go home. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what did I get myself into? And I was saying in my head, what if I fall and I break my leg? Then I don't have to go out there. I was like, they're going to hate me. I was thinking anything that I could do. I was like, they are going to hate me. They're going to think, why is this crazy guy in this hat and glasses here? And I thought it was going to be a disaster. And I was thinking in my head, everything that if this happens, maybe I don't have to go on. And I was so nervous. And I usually don't get nervous. But I was so nervous because it was such a different caliber. They were employees of telecoms. Like, why are you here?
It's the total opposite.
The total opposite. But and then, long story short, it did go well. And I was really surprised that I was like, okay, Marvin, just put your brave face on.
Okay, wo du wirklich nervös warst, das war im letzten Monat ein Auftritt, den du hattest. Du solltest eine Rede halten vor ca. 2000 Telekom-Mitarbeitern, die überhaupt nichts mit der Industrie zu tun haben. Und du dachtest die ganze Zeit, oh Gott, worauf habe ich mich hier eingelassen? Kann ich mir bitte jetzt ein Bein brechen, um aus der Situation rauszukommen? Aber am Ende war es alles in Ordnung. Okay, we have a quickfire round.
Ooh.
Just short answers.
Sure.
Can you do?
And go.
Okay, we have one question from the audience. Prince or Michael Jackson?
I can't answer that. Both.
Perfection or raw energy?
Raw energy. Perfection does not exist.
LA or New York?
Ooh, LA.
Control or chaos?
Controlled chaos.
Fame or freedom?
Freedom.
Coffee or adrenaline?
Adrenaline.
One take or 20 takes?
One take.
Classic or trend?
Classic.
Dance battle with 10-year-olds or board meeting with 10 CEOs?
Ooh, board meeting with 10 CEOs.
Really?
Oh, my God. You said with 10 children?
10-year-olds, yeah.
10 year. Oh, Lord, that's like Armageddon. Are you kidding?
Work with a diva or a complete beginner?
A diva.
100 dancers who don't listen or one dancer who thinks he's Beyonce?
Neither.
Live TV with no rehearsal or rehearsal with no show?
Rehearsal with no show.
Coffee or chaos?
Chaos.
Studio at 3 a.m. or sleep like a normal human?
Oh, studio at 3 a.m.
Fame or freedom?
Freedom.
Vintage or futuristic?
Vintage.
Headphones or loudspeakers?
Loudspeakers.
Inspiration or discipline?
Ooh, scheisse. Inspiration, discipline. Discipline.
Collaborate or create alone?
Collaborate.
Art for yourself or for the audience?
Good question. The audience.
Oh, that one hurts. Yeah.
That one, it does. It does hurt.
Obsession or balance?
Balance.
Control everything or trust the process?
Ooh. That's so hard because people say, I don't believe it. They say I'm a control freak and I don't believe that. Trust the process.
Happy life or great art?
Happy life.
Being understood or being mysterious?
Being understood.
Okay. Perform in front of 10,000 people, maybe telecom, or one person who really gets it?
In front of 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm. Always be early or always be late? Well, you're American.
Always be early.
Live without music or without conversations?
Ooh, who came up with, is this from somebody online? Live without music or without conversation? Without conversation. Because we can have a conversation on music. Okay.
Another question from the audience. When you wake up in Eppendorf tomorrow morning, what's the first current work project you will be thinking about and why?
The first current work project or world project? The first work project that I'm going to be thinking about tomorrow morning is I'm working on a project right now in the UK. So I have to finish the casting process by tomorrow. That's going to be interesting.
Be famous but misunderstood or unknown but deeply respected?
It depends on who it is, but I can imagine being deeply respected.
If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be?
If I can give a piece of advice to my younger self, it would be, you said it earlier, and I think the question was perfection or control chaos. Was that what it is? Mm-hmm. I think to understand that perfection doesn't exist. Perfection, there's no such thing as perfection. And I think that's why we're always chasing it. So I think that the word perfection in this industry should be changed with something else, because perfection is what breaks people, and perfection is what, what really has you lose who you are, for me. So I would just say, understand that perfection does not exist. It's just about constantly growing and getting better. And the last two things I'm going to say is, try to be in a conversation to understand that you're not speaking for yourself. You're not speaking for yourself. You're speaking for the other person to understand. And I don't care if they agree with you or not. Just they should understand what you're saying. So you have to make yourself very clear, and then allow them to do with it what they want to do. So it's not about trying to change someone's mind. It's just about being clear. And then the last thing is, understand really clearly that arguing with idiots is not really beneficial.
Okay, das einmal ganz. Okay, also wichtig ist nicht, Menschen von seiner Meinung zu überzeugen, sondern eher dazu zu bringen, einfach verstanden zu werden, richtig verstanden zu werden, unterschiedliche Meinungen zu respektieren, und trotzdem bringt es nichts, mit Idioten zu diskutieren. What do you still want to create that you haven't done yet?
There's so many things that I want to create that I have not done yet, or have not been successful at it yet. I want to go back and I want to create a space that gives opportunities to people who give access to people who wouldn't necessarily have that access. Mm-hmm. And of course, in my industry, which is the industry of singing, dancing, acting, modeling, whatever it is, because I think art and creativity, it sometimes is only accessible to a certain group of people. Mm-hmm. It's only accessible to a certain group of people. If you don't have the access to it, whether it's a financial access to it or whether it's just a knowledge to it, then we miss a whole group of people sometimes. And in that group of people, that could be the next thing.
The most beautiful voices remain unheard.
They remain unheard. And I've always wanted to create a space where we can have people that can come in, that can be kind of subjected to things that they just wouldn't normally have access to and see, because it touches everyone different. To one man's art is another man's trash, but one man's trash is another man's art. And that's where creativity comes from. Creativity comes from putting things together that don't belong together. It comes from putting peanut butter together with jelly and making it a sandwich. And they shouldn't go together. And here we go.
Also was du erschaffen möchtest, ist einfach ein Raum oder eine Plattform, nennen wir es so, für Menschen, die sonst keinen Zugang zu Kunst haben. Und da auch Leute zusammenzubringen, die sonst eben keinen Zugang haben, sei es aus finanziellen Gründen oder einfach, weil sie keinen Kontakt dazu haben, zu schaffen. Denn Kunst entsteht auch aus Widersprüchen. Also was für den einen hässlich und schlecht ist für den anderen Kunst und umgekehrt. Und daraus entsteht eben diese Kreativität. Und das wäre ein ganz wichtiges Anliegen, was du hast. And my final question. What do you want people to feel after experiencing your work?
Was möchtest du, was Menschen fühlen und spüren, nachdem sie deine Arbeit erfahren haben?
That's a really good question. I think it would depend upon the body of work that they've had the chance to witness at that time, whether it's a show or whatever it is. But usually what I want people to take away from the work is I would love for them to feel from the artist what they put into it. I want people to feel that it's a job and it's work and it's their heart that they're putting out there, whether they're the star or the extra, whatever. And I want people to feel that, this is something to be respected, because we tend to respect doctors and lawyers and architects, but we tend to have another respect for actors, dancers, and singers. We don't have that same respect. What we do is we're mesmerized with them because it's like, we see them on TV every day, but we don't have a certain respect and a certain, we tend to think they're not intelligent. We tend to think that, this is something that is frivolous. And I don't think it is frivolous. I think that we need entertainment in the world, because during times like this that we're in right now, we need to be entertained to pull us through. And entertainment was one of the main things that got us through some of the hardest times on this planet. And entertainment is so much more intellectual than people think it is. So I hope I answered your question.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Ja, also was was du möchtest, was die Leute mitnehmen, ist also, dass man eben sieht, dass die Menschen, die auf der Bühne gestanden haben, einfach ihr Herz reingeben und wirklich hart gearbeitet haben dafür, eben diese Performance zu machen. Und du bist dafür natürlich, dass Kunst eben auch als respektable, als Kunstform angesehen wird, also als harte Arbeit, die eben Respekt verdient. Wir neigen dazu, Architekten, Ärzte und Juristen zu respektieren, was ja auch natürlich völlig in Ordnung ist und super ist, aber dass die Kunst eben auch den Stellenwert im Respekt bekommt, den sie verdient. Ich hoffe, das habe ich so richtig zusammengefasst.
Das war sehr gut.
Marvin, thank you. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Thank you.
It was a great honor.
Thank you.
Und das war eine weitere Folge von Alster Ego. Vielen Dank, Marvin A. Smith, dass du mein Gast warst. Es war eine großartige, interessante, spannende, emotionale Runde hier mit dir. Und wenn ihr dabei sein wollt, dann schreibt uns doch in den Kommentaren. Und wenn ihr hier direkt dabei sein wollt im Manzels, dann könnt ihr unter manzels.de auch eure Tickets reservieren. Und zwar zum Beispiel für die nächste Aufzeichnung am 7. Mai um 19 Uhr hier im Manzels. Da sind zu Gast zum einen Helmut Gensch und Michael Vier. Das sind ein ehemaliger Schauspieler, ein ehemaliger international agierender Opernsänger, die aus ihrem künstlerischen Leben berichten. Außerdem ist noch dabei Leonie Seeland. Sie ist eine junge Polizistin und arbeitet auch hier im Manzels zum Ausgleich. Ist es wirklich ein Ausgleich hier? Wir werden es erfahren. Also, seid dabei beim nächsten Mal. Überall, wo es Podcasts gibt, kriegt ihr Alster Ego auf die Ohren. Ich freue mich also, wenn ihr nächstes Mal dabei seid. Ja, hört rein und empfehlt mich weiter. Bis dann. Macht's gut.